Welcome to the Dub Dive, where we take your source material and really unearth the most fascinating nuggets of knowledge and insight. Today, we're plunging into a truly unique realm, a glimpse behind the scenes of a very unusual government agency. We're talking about a place where Christmas isn't just about carols and mince pies, but cosmic horror and the iron laws of bureaucracy. So, our mission for this deep dive is to explore this really bizarre intersection. You've got mundane office life on one hand and world-saving espionage on the other, and it's all seen through the eyes of this very particular civil servant on Christmas Eve. We've got a fantastic short story excerpt that brilliantly mixes, humor, dread, and some surprising facts about how a secret branch of Her Majesty's government deals with the truly unbelievable.
Yeah, what's truly intriguing here, I think, is how the author takes the seemingly ordinary, the humdrum of office life, the paperwork, even that kind of jaded cynicism of the civil servant, and transforms it into the gateway to the extraordinary. We'll be looking at how routine tasks, office politics, all that stuff take on entirely new, often terrifying meanings when you're part of an organization tasked with, well, protecting reality itself. It's really a masterclass in grounding cosmic horror in the absurd every day.
Okay, so let's jump right in then. Our narrator finds himself volunteering for night duty officer over the Christmas period. It's a decision born out of, classic office politics and a recent hospitalization, which apparently HR told him he should have foreseen and planned around it. Can you believe that? But this isn't just any old office, it's the Laundry, a secret branch of Her Majesty's government.
Exactly. And that's where the story's genius really kicks in, I feel. The Laundry operates under these kind of iron laws of bureaucracy we all recognize, right? Memos, procedures. Yet its core function couldn't be more outlandish. It deals with occult technologies and threats, specifically where abstruse branches of pure mathematics can have drastic consequences in the real world. They basically call it magic. It's almost an engineering approach to the supernatural. And it's even spawned a growth area called applied computational demonology. It really makes you wonder, how does a traditional bureaucracy even begin to manage something like that? Preventing invasions of brain-eating monsters during business hours.
That's the core absurdity, isn't it? That clash between meticulous paperwork and cosmic dread. And our narrator embodies that clash perfectly, even down to his attitude towards the English suburban Christmas. He's pretty cynical about it, calls it a turkey-addled, stomach-bloating haze, mentions cheap plonk, and falling asleep to traditional family-friendly crap the BBC pumps out.
Yeah.
He actually prefers spending it alone in the office playing Chicks v. Zombies 8.0. This whole jaded outlook, it sets this unique, darkly humorous tone for the strange events to come. Right now, onto the night duty officer's domain itself. Our narrator is slated for the night shift, and he gets a tour from Bill from security. Bill's a former blues suitor, so likely ex-police or military, with a salt and pepper mustache and a bunch of keys the size of a hand grenade. Love that detail. And the night duty officer's watch room. It's a true relic, described as a depressing new brutalist slab of concrete, electrically heated, poorly insulated. It's got a khaki-painted steel frame at the bunk, green wool blankets, even a fading poster on the wall that says "Careless lips sink ships." Oh, and get this, a green screen terminal and a huge dial-infested rotary phone. You can almost smell the stale coffee and dust, can't you?
Right, totally. And this archaic setting, it isn't just a quirky detail. I think it ironically underscores the Laundry's deep-rooted connection to magic, perhaps. Like while they're dealing with applied computational demonology, the infrastructure seems stuck in the past, maybe a past where these things felt less computational. The story says the NDO's office budget was misfiled years ago, which is just perfect bureaucracy. Yet despite the dated tech, the NDO role is absolutely critical. Their job is simply to sit tight and answer the phone. But those are direct lines to a special army barracks in Hereford, Shape in Brussels, NATO's HQ, and even the Cobra briefing room in Downing Street. That phrase, the sufficiency of shit, could mean calling the Prime Minister. It really highlights how this low-tech setup can be the absolute center of global occult security. It's quite something.
It's incredible, isn't it? The stakes they're dealing with from such a humble, almost forgotten command center. And our narrator, ever the clever civil servant, finds a workaround for that ancient landline. He programs a divert into the PBX, the internal phone system, so calls ring through to his iPhone. It's a small detail, but it perfectly shows the adaptability needed to work for an agency that hasn't updated its phones in 16 years. Plus, there's a perk to being NDO. He gets to poke my nose anywhere I like, even places where he'd normally get his nasal appendage chopped right off.
Yeah.
That line just hammers home the bureaucratic absurdity and the bizarre stakes, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, yeah. It's that blend of mundane corporate jargon and, potentially world-ending threat that defines laundry.
Okay, so moving on. The Laundry's office Christmas party. Naturally, it's described as a testament to the Dunkirk spirit amidst chainsaw of budget cuts. They make do with crepe paper hats, whistles, party poppers, supermarket mince pies, and of course, cheap wine. Standard office fare, almost. But it's during this wonderfully low-budget affair that things start to get truly weird. Enter Dr. Kringle from Forecasting Operations.
Ah, yes, Kringle. His introduction is a pivotal moment, isn't it? It shifts the tone significantly. His department apparently attempts to evaluate the efficacy of proposed action initiatives and describe their consequences from the future. So they're precogs, basically. And Kringle himself is unsettling, described as curiously etiolated and pale-skinned, like those of a deep one, which is a classic Lovecraftian nod, suggesting something ancient, maybe aquatic, and deeply unsettling. He's got a single watery blue eye concealed by a leather patch. And his speech is truly chilling. He announces this will be the last Christmas party held by the Laundry. Not because of budget cuts, but more fundamental irrevocable changes. That immediately just ramps up the dread.
Wow, okay. So Kringle's prophecy isn't just about budget cuts, but irrevocable changes. That really sets an ominous tone. And then here's where it gets really interesting, right? Kringle's monologue touches upon the sinister origins of Santa Claus. He links him to the Norse god Odin and these shamanic rituals of Lapp antiquity, involving a holy man who drank the urine of reindeer that had eaten the sacred toadstool Amanita muscaria and wore the bloody, flayed skin of the poisoned animals. It's pretty gruesome. And then he ominously states that forecasting operations can't predict any outcomes beyond this very evening. It's such a brilliant, dark twist on familiar holiday lore.
Absolutely. And the story is making a profound point here, I think. In this universe, collective belief isn't just metaphorical. It's like a real-world energy source for entities beyond our comprehension. It basically turns the very act of celebrating Christmas into an unwitting summoning ritual, weaponizing the mundane against us in a way.
Later, the narrator has a quiet conversation with his former manager, Andy. And Andy reveals the true gravity of Kringle's prediction. Apparently, Kringle is one of the best precognitives they've ever had. And his message ties into something called Case Nightmare Green, which is essentially code for the end of the world.
Right. And stepping back, the broader implication of Case Nightmare Green is terrifying. It refers to this 70-year-long window during which the power of magic multiplies monstrously and alien horrors from the Dark Ages before the Big Bang become accessible.
Yeah.
Standard stuff for the Laundry, maybe. But the truly shocking news is that their calculations were wrong. This window actually opened 9 months ago. It makes you wonder, right? If magic is a branch of applied computation and neural networks are computing devices, what happens when too many people believe in something? Especially when the stars are right.
Yeah.
It's this powerful fusion of ancient cosmic horror with modern computational theory.
That's a chilling convergence, yeah. And this belief, combined with the season, creates this massive problem. The narrator realizes tonight hundreds of millions of innocent children are calling Santa. And the theory is there are hungry things hidden in the gaps between universes that come when they're called. The filler of stockings, lurker in fireplaces, bringer of gifts, or, as the narrator ominously adds, Odin, Jolnir, the king in red, pick your culture, prepare to die. It paints a truly horrifying picture of what Christmas might really be about in this world. But then something even stranger happens. The narrator's memory of Kringle and his talk and even the conversation with Andy about it, it starts to feel disturbingly like a dream. And when he tries to confirm the details later with Andy, Andy has no memory of Kringle or forecasting operations at all. Nothing. What on earth does this all mean?
Well, this is where the story gets incredibly clever with its unfolding time paradox. It's quite brilliant. The narrator theorizes that forecasting ops must have forecast the probability of its own catastrophic capture by something, some entity. So, to prevent this, they disbanded themselves, effectively editing themselves out of existence. But this desperate act created an echo Dr. Kringle. He exists to maneuver someone into position to deal with the incursion that would have killed him, even though his department technically no longer exists in the current timeline. It's a stunning twist, really. It reshapes how you think about agency and causality within the Laundry.
That's truly mind-bending. So Kringle is a ghost of a future that never happened, but his presence is necessary to make sure that future doesn't happen. It's a brilliant example of a character being his own temporal paradox. And the only tangible evidence the narrator has for any of this is his own memory. And get this, a weirdly smudged photocopy of a giant cockroach's rear end, which he found earlier while snooping around the executive secretary's annex. The sheer mundane absurdity of that evidence just enhances the whole bizarre situation. It's perfect. Okay, so fast forward. Midnight approaches on Christmas Eve. The NDO room grows distinctly cold despite the London weather outside. The incinerator chimney, which is the only source of warmth in the building, is now coated in condensation, emanating icy waves. The narrator's ward, a protective amulet he wears, reacts by burning hot against his skin, and he realizes with dawning horror there's an incursion. Something's coming down the chimney, something from the dark anthropic zone. The bad place, basically.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, how exactly do you fight something like that? Something that gains energy from belief and comes from a corner of the multiverse drained of all meaning and energy. But the narrator, with incredible quick thinking, realizes the summoning comes with an implicit ritual of banishment. If the ritual, Santa leaving toys and then going away, is broken, the entity is free to stay. So his plan involves finding a prop, red and white stripy stockings stuffed with small cardboard boxes, a tray of stale mince pies, and drawing a containment grid around himself with a conductive marker pen. It's this wonderfully absurd yet somehow logical response to an unthinkably dangerous threat, using office supplies and leftover party food.
He literally uses stale mince pies and office supplies to save the world. Amazing. So, the narrator confronts Kringle down in the basement incinerator room. He confirms Kringle's spectral nature, sees skeletal hands with the wrong number of joints, and even 2 pairs of arms. Then the filler of stockings itself emerges, just the fat greenish tip of one pseudopod covered in sucker-like mouths. Horrific imagery. Our narrator quickly throws the mince pies, which the entity actually devours, slowing it down for a crucial moment. He then powers up the incinerator, trapping the appendage and causing a sizzling flash and a howling whoop of pain and fury. And Kringle, a time ghost, also swirls into the incinerator and vanishes. What a chaotic, utterly unique climax to Christmas Eve. Wow, what a wild ride. From, bureaucratic drudgery and complaining about HR to fending off cosmic horror on Christmas Eve, all because of an unpaid leave request and a very determined precognitive ghost. Our narrator saves the day with stale mince pies and quick thinking, and it leaves us with this final, unsettling image, a piece of coal left on the floor by the vanquished entity, a final dark Christmas gift.
Yeah, this deep dive really highlights how our deepest belief systems, even things as seemingly benign as Christmas traditions, can have these profound, unexpected, and frankly terrifying consequences, at least in the right or perhaps the wrong circumstances. And it also brilliantly showcases how an author can ground the truly monstrous in the utterly mundane, which I think makes the horror all the more potent, doesn't it?
Definitely. So next Christmas, maybe when you hear those sleigh bells or see smoke coming from a chimney, perhaps you'll wonder not just about Santa, but about the other things that might be called. What else might gain power from our collective belief? And what will it take for some unassuming civil servant armed with office supplies to keep them at bay? Thanks for diving deck with us today. Until next time, stay curious.